Good? All right. Still got music. All right, welcome to Nothing But Anarchy. I am Chad Sanders, at Chad Sand on Instagram, at Chad_Sand on the Elon Musk platform. Got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Got two of my guys here in the studio with us today. We have my boy Ashil. Ashil, say what's up.
What up, what up?
Got my boy Tweez.
What up, what up? What's going on?
Ashil and Tweez, really quickly, but I don't want to forget this is a very important thing to do right now. We're not shy about these things on this show. Guys, plug your podcast. Please tell the people where they can find y'all's podcast.
Check Up One-on-One. We are on YouTube. We are on Instagram. We talking about it all, breaking down some sports. Whatever you want to talk about, we're here for that. Tweez.
We're here. We're here to break down and give you the analysis that you need. Beyond the surface. Forget about the things that you see on TV. We're actually going to talk about the things that we actually see and feel.
All right, Shill and Tweez are two guys who I went to high school with. I went to college with. I have been through a lot of my life's experiences with these two guys, from high school basketball to college craziness. TJ's house, Tweez. I'm going to accidentally call him TJ throughout, but that's what I call him. You guys call him Tweez. Tweez's house was the party spot in college. It was the party spot. It was Tweez's house and Leon's house were the two. They both lived in the same neighborhood, basically, like two different gated communities within the same neighborhood in West Atlanta. And when I say a gated community in West Atlanta, that's not like what y'all are thinking about as like a gated. It's not like the gated community in Potomac. It's like, is there even a gate? I don't even know.
There's a gate. It's just always open.
There's just a gate. There's just a gate.
And we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about a few different things here today, but also like this is just they are here. They just decided to drive up to New York from DC, from Maryland, where they're based, to just spend this day with us because I don't know if this is why they came, but I will say I'm happy to have them here. This is the last episode of 2023, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is episode 74, which is crazy.
Yeah, I know.
We've done 74 episodes of this thing, and we're going to keep on riding with it. The intention of this show, as I said at the top when we started this thing, was to build, to build a show where I could have my real, honest, tonal point of view, my real, honest tone, my real, honest point of view, my real voice on a show, and we could get, really subvert, like really get in there on some of the things that I care about. And we started with sports. We started because AMP had an opportunity. AMP basically, I forgot how this happened, but I think AMP came to me via an executive who we love here, who we care about a lot here. And they said, hey, we see what you're doing. Do you have anything for one of these 3 subject matters? And those subject matters were sports, I think hip hop, and there might have been one other one. And I usually have something. I try to have something for everything.
You got all that.
I got all that. Like, I love sports. I love hip hop. I love a lot. I'm passionate about a lot. But they did not realize that I was going to have something for sports. And so I pitched them. I was walking down the street in Queens one day with Penny, my 80-pound German Shepherd, and a lightning bolt hit me, and it said, NBA, Nothing But Anarchy. That's the name of the show. You do a show in sports that really is not about sports. It's really about people and culture and society. And then we started doing this thing. Tweez and Ashil came up back then and sat at this table with me, and we did one of our first episodes, and we cut a reel out of it of us literally just fucking around, being silly, shooting the shit about whatever, and put that out on Instagram. And it generated a little bit of a bubble of people saying, oh, look, like, it's those guys we remember from college. It's those guys we remember from high school. It's, oh, look, like, those guys are still close. That's cool. That's really interesting. And then people started to follow, and 74 episodes or 70 episodes later, like, we're still here. So we're going to continue to be here into the next phase of 2024. And what I will say, where my head is at right now, because also on this show, I try to keep the audience in on what's happening around my entire environment, right? So I have pivoted this year. I think literally this year, the pivot has happened from being like a mercenary creative work for hire, right? Screenwriter, author, somebody who can come to a studio and like write an episode of TV or write a draft of a movie or whatever for them. I'm pivoting into being a small studio of our own, which means making shows like this, like Yearbook on the Armchair Expert Network. It means having my face in front of things, not just behind things. It means starting to cultivate other talent and bring in other partners and stuff like that. And I just came from home. I was just in Maryland over the weekend and over the last few days. And I didn't expect this, but this is like just to really let you all in on like how I move and how I make decisions. I was driving around back and forth between my parents and my sisters into DC to meet up with these guys for hookah and, just driving around the city. I went to go meet my cousin who lives in Northwest for coffee one day. And something just started to talk to me and say, you have been saying literally for years now that you wanted to bring your operation to DC.
Come back down 95, baby.
Let's do it.
And it seems like I don't even want to say, I don't want to make it scientific. I don't want to make it mathematic. I'm not about to like try to apply science to what is mostly a feeling, but it feels like this is the time for me to do that. It feels like I have the space in my life to do that. It feels like I have the entrepreneurial vehicles to do that. I know what I want to build. I know what I want it to feel like. I know what kind of people I want to be around it. I know what I want it to look like and sound like. And I need space, and I also need community. And something that I feel like I have lost here in New York over the last few years, as I've watched friends move, as my own life has changed, as, you know, the nature of work has changed, where everybody works from their house now and people are not outside in the streets like they used to be, going to their office, going to happy hour, going to this and that. I feel like I don't have that here. And that's important for me to have. Like, I need to feel connected to my people. I need to be able to jump in the car and go visit my cousins down the street. I'm sorry, my nephews down the street. I need to be able to jump in the car and go visit these guys. I need to be able to jump in the car and go get lunch with my cousin or my mom or my dad or a friend who I've known for 20 years. And I don't have that here anymore. So it is going to be an undertaking. Is that the right word? Yes, an undertaking.
Yeah,
It's going to cost some time, energy, and money to make this transition, but I'm trying to get in the habit of saying what's going on with me out loud and stating my intentions, because I've noticed that as I state my intentions, people who can help show up. And so I just want it to be said. I want it to be known that that's my vision for what I'm going to do in 2024. Period. So we're going to start. We've already kind of started that move by the launch of Yearbook, which is a project that is very much centered around my hometown. And then we're going to do a live show in DC sometime between now and Valentine's Day, date to be determined. And then some months thereafter, like, I will bring the whole thing down and we're going to get it booming in DC. I would like to say in an even bigger and an even more meaningful way than what we have been starting to build here. So, all right, that's enough preamble. Let me bring my guys into this, because here's what I want to talk about. Here's where I want to start. Yearbook. So you guys have been a part of Yearbook basically from the beginning, which is to say 2 years ago, Yearbook is my 8-part anthology series on the Armchair Expert Network. It is I would say like an audio docu-series basically chronicling 1 year, 20 years ago at our high school, in our community, that features the set pieces of Alicia Betancourt, RIP, her dying as a 15-year-old in a car accident, our run to the state championship in our towns, you know, in our counties, in our state, like state championship, as a basketball team, which I was on the team with these two guys and 13 other dudes or something like that. And then it is bookended by a murder that took place in front of my high school when I was a senior, after these guys had already gone off to Morehouse to college. Ashil, I'll start with you because you're just closer to me right there. Like, I would love to get inside your head, get inside your eyes of how you watched this entire thing play out, like the entire development of this series, your participation in it, and then the launch of it, and how, like, what does that look like to you? What have you seen?
I mean, I just seen really just the development of the whole thing from ground up. I mean, I've seen the audience just grow, like I said, from the Anarchy crew of over here now, just moving over to the Yearbook crowd, and just the work of it. You know what I mean? Just us being in the studio, me, you, Tweez, just reliving our stories, reliving all those feelings, the roller coaster of feelings, the good, the bad, the ugly. You know what I mean? And again, just even outside of the guys that I share the studio with, like hearing Robert's story. And Robert was a guy that was one of my teammates. You know what I mean? I felt that I knew Robert, you know what I mean? But Robert was able to give some different insight that I wasn't able to connect with at the time, you know? But now, again, like I said, in those roller coaster of feelings, even going back to all the things I remember, it's like, damn, Robert's story would make sense for who Robert is, for what Robert went through. And then, you know, you just putting it all together just in this story and telling our story. And that's the thing that I fuck with the most, for real. I don't know if I can curse on this. Can I, for real, like that? I can drop the F-bomb like that?
Of course.
Yeah. All right, say no more. I'm cool. Let's keep it bumping there. But nonetheless, You were able to tell our story because I feel like if I connect with Tweez, if I connect with Robert, if I connect with even Juice, who didn't really have a part in the story, they'll all say that is our story. Like all those words came together to mean, you know what I mean? And they all mean the same thing to us. So that shit's fire, bro. Yeah, that shit's fire. I can't wait for the last episode to drop. It's the last one's tomorrow, right?
Last episode of Yearbook comes out tomorrow, and
Oh yeah.
and Tweez, I'll move it over to you. With that said, like I'll go first on this, and then I'll hand it off to you, Tweez. Like this is probably the project that has truly had the, like, if you're taking audience size and multiplying it by like depth of reaction from each audience member, that's how I would quantify like impact. This is probably the project that I have been a part of that has had the largest impact. Even if I include, like, I don't know, Rap Shit probably gets like a few 100,000 viewers per episode. This show gets it gets downloaded into the millions every month. And then on top of that, strangers to us, like complete strangers to us, are pouring out like paragraphs of text about what this show means to them. Tweez, I'm curious, how have you experienced like the response of the show, both locally and then to the strangers we don't even know?
Okay, so I'll start with locally. Locally, it's just been a euphoric process. It's been a process that's given me a lot of joy just to revisit all these things. Even like Ashil said, the good, the bad. It's good to see locally people are able to think about the situations and the things that we experience from a different light and from a different perspective. Even people that we experienced with, like, you know, we're getting responses from other people like, oh, didn't even know you guys thought of it that way, or didn't experience that from my side. And to have those conversations opened up to hear how did other people experience the same thing, right? So it's been amazing on that front. As far as like beyond locally, I've been amazed, honestly, by your artistry. It's something that I'm appreciating in a different way due to this project. It's like
Appreciate that.
And know you can write, bro. Been knowing that, right? Even down to writing, like, you know, writing for the rap shit and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, we knew. I knew that. It's kind of like, you know, you lose humility about your friend sometimes. You're like,
Yeah.
He can do anything.
Right.
But to see how this is developed, basically from our experiences in the studio, to see what story you were able to put together, the things you were able to highlight, the feelings you were able to provoke just by using the clips of us talking. This is like, we've been talking. All right, it's about you to be able to look at the same talk,
right,
and give this image that's getting people to say, oh, you know, I relate to this in Wyoming. I relate to this in, you know, that's crazy, man. It's been an out of body experience for me.
All right, so thank you. I appreciate that. Now let me do the deflection, which is like, the deflection is one thing I have taken from the reaction to this story is, you know, you guys are both artists in your own right. You know how it is. Like, if you get 95% positivity as a reaction and 5%, I wouldn't even necessarily call it all negativity. Just like, oh, I actually remember it like this, or that's not the real, like, or why'd you say this happened when it really happened like that? You know what I mean? There's some element of, and I have tried to honestly like shield myself at this point from most of the reaction altogether, because I can't just reach for the positive and not grab some of the, you know, some of the licorice in there. So, let me ask you guys this way. If you were telling this story from your own points of view, in what ways would you tell the story differently? Like, what things, and I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying like, oh, Chad, like, you fucked up this part. I really just mean like, what parts do you guys think are more important that maybe I didn't spend as much time on, or maybe I could have explored more about this part of our society or our community or whatever?
I mean, shoot. I mean, like this one is like I said earlier. I mean, you told the story from many of our different lenses, you know, and it was just one thing I remember from then. I didn't have a car. Some friends did have a car. I live a little bit further away from Blake, like TJ did, and getting a ride was a thing. You know what I'm saying? That was a pretty difficult thing at times. You know what I mean? And
moving around,
right? Getting from school to back home after practice.
You had to sacrifice some things.
You're right. Was a difficult
Talk about.
process.
Tell me, what did you have to sacrifice? That's a good point.
We used to have to sacrifice. Funny enough, getting deeper into it, your company. You know, so sometimes you don't want to spend, share energy with a certain person, even at that age.
Yep.
But you're doing it because you have no other way to get where you need to go.
Yes.
Yep.
That was the one thing we sacrificed, and sometimes you sacrifice a little bit of safety.
Yeah.
Because you're putting yourself in the hands of someone who's maybe not the most experienced person at driving. Just period. No matter what.
Right.
Right.
Not savvy. They're not cool. Not really your friend.
Yes.
But it's just like you are now in their car. You know what I mean? And that's it. It felt like that. It kind of felt like property. But you that's what it felt like in the moment. But at that same time, you were like, I need to get home.
Okay.
Because my mom needs me home for dinner.
I think there's a quiet part that's not being said out loud. Tell me if I'm wrong, but like that sounds like there's a racial element to it. Is that fair to say?
Certainly.
Oh, for sure. There's a danger element that we all got touched on with our parents telling us about this a little bit, but yeah, there's a danger to being in the car with someone of the opposite race, right? If we're not the same race in that car.
The opposite race.
Hey.
Nah, continue. Continue.
But as we're in the car, there's a danger to it. People make assumptions. You're treated a different way. Both people are in danger. Both people are in danger.
Right.
Some people are not expecting for there to be any harmony between the two races, and they don't like it. And you get treated differently, especially at a young age.
Right. There's so one theme that has come up. I've gotten a few people reach out to me, and again, I mean, I'll just say it like this: fewer and fewer people can reach out to me, right? But I have had a few people reach out to me and say, I've had Black women reach out and say, like, in some version of this, from my mom to my sister to like people I haven't talked to in 20 years. I'm glad your sister came on and said the things that needed to be said about how Black girls were in ways excluded from this sort of like, glamorous white party atmosphere that was a big part of y'all's school. Is there anything in that subject matter that is there anything in that subject matter that you guys see differently, or even that you realize you saw at the time but didn't totally click until we were adults that you can speak to?
Easily. Just again, as being younger than your sister, at all times I always just assumed that socially she was just like having a blast, having it up, just doing everything, and everything that we were doing was kind of like late to her. I just felt that way. I just assumed that. And to hear that, even in the project, as someone who knows her, or I was like, oh, it was eye opening for me. So I know that had to be a big experience for a lot of people.
I really felt as if, again, I was blind to the whole thing. You know what I mean? Because again, I just felt like I was with my friends. Like I was with TJ, he's at the party, you're at the party, Brandon's at the party, Jermaine's at the party. I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Everything is straight. But when you think about it in hindsight, we were just all invited to the party and I didn't have to really RSVP for real. We were just always invited. But everybody else that looked like us had to RSVP, or they didn't really get an invite. Right. So, and again, we having it up in our world. I'm just like, maybe there's, our friends still, that weren't with us at those parties, we're still doing their own thing. When you think about it, they were literally just excluded.
And we couldn't be deep. That's the other thing. Right. They couldn't be deep. Like we never, you come to the party, we show up at the door. It could be me, you, and Ashiel and Brandon, and the person opens the door, welcoming, oh, hey, what's up, and giving us our individual name, announcement, and entry. But then you come with 3 other people who are not included, right? And it's like, whoa, y'all are deep, man. Y'all are deep.
They would always,
that word.
They would use our language to disable us.
Yes.
Y'all are deep, man.
Why would you come so deep to the house, man? And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. This is less than the normal amount of people that I come with.
Right.
They're just not on the list.
Right.
Right.
Josh, I'm going to ask you I'm gonna ask them one more question, but I'm
Yeah.
teeing you up so you have a second to think about it.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask if you, as someone who was a part of the production of the show, and also then you've probably heard all of it 100 times, like different ways 100 times, but like I'm just gonna ask if you have any questions for these guys as like, I don't know, just as a different dynamic rather than me speaking to the show. But I'll ask one. I'm just gonna make up a question here so that Josh has a second to stew on that. But like, here's my question. This is the funny thing about it. Like, that show is not about race. Like,
Right.
race is an element of everywhere around us, but it is not a show about race. However, and I think I might have even said this to you guys, the first 4 episodes, I want to say, get into all the shit, but as far as race is concerned, plays it very clean. It doesn't really get to it yet.
Yeah.
And I think I can't remember if I said it out loud, but I certainly felt it. When we turn this corner, all this like, hugs and positivity and love that's coming from all these corners of the internet of people that I don't know, do know, white kids we knew from back home, like, I think it might change shape a little bit when we really start talking about where we're from and how it is there. And that happened. Like, I experienced that happening, and that's when I decided, okay, I got to shut the door. I got to shut the door on the feedback right now, because I don't, like, I said what I said. I mean it. I stand on it. We all said what we said. You know what I mean? As people on the show, I chose the people I wanted for the show intentionally, So, do you guys think that, this is a broader question, like, do you guys think people who listen to that show, who take that racial stuff with them, who really like, I mean white people specifically, do you think it is capable of like actually creating any sort of like small, big, medium-sized change in where we're from? Or do you think just people just say, hey man, I'm not like that. That ain't me, so whatever. Or some other option. And be real, because I don't know. You know what I mean? I tried, but I did. But you know what I'm saying? I wasn't like trying to. That wasn't the point of the show.
Facts.
But we all knew that part was going to. You guys watched me make decisions about what to take out and what to keep in. You know?
Yeah.
And
be real. I'm not looking for like the cute answer.
OD. I do think that there's definitely some who's gonna be off there. Yeah, that ain't me. Couldn't have been me. I didn't do that. Chad knows I didn't do that. He told the story episode 5. Couldn't have been me. There are some of those, but I think there are some that have inquired and to be like TJ said, like, dang, like I didn't really see it like that. Like, oh, that was kind of crazy. Or who did take this? You know what I'm saying? Like, Like, who did take the purse? You know what I'm saying? Like, because it wasn't me, but it might have been one of our other friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, not our friends per se, but some of the other white girls per se. You know what I mean? And I feel like some of them were also looking in that manner. I don't necessarily kind of protecting themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, just Chad again. It ain't me. I didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? I was good to you. I am good to you.
Right.
So I think there is, like I say, I mean, some are. And some won't, but I feel like, and even in the response, even though you've kind of closed off, the responses I'm getting from some people have kind of shown me, okay, some do care, but some really are just trying to investigate to see how I see them.
Right. And before you also respond, like, I want to be clear about this, and I tried to be really clear in the project this way. Like, we didn't say names and faces on purpose.
Right.
Like, we left out names and faces because the point is not to indict any particular individual. Like, the point is to point out this is how our pocket of the United States operates.
The climate.
And our pocket is common.
Right.
Like, that's how a lot of like Josh saw his own hometown in the show, because
most definitely
that's America.
Check the comments.
Yeah.
Check the comments. Like, yo, I'm in Nebraska. This thing is like this thing here. Oh, I'm in Austin. This thing is like this. Like, so, and it's like, and if you look if you look at something like that and you see yourself, that ain't got nothing to do with me. That is not my business, which is why I gotta like say, no, thank you. Tweez.
So again, I have to say that I don't know if it's gonna provoke change. Don't think that. I do think that it will provoke awareness. It's kind of funny. It's similar to how if I get to drinking a little bit, I have the tendency to tap you on the knee while we're talking, right? I just do it. I tap everybody. It happens.
Yes.
You said something to me, right?
Yeah.
You did not change me, but you made me very aware of what I was doing subconsciously. And I think that's going to happen. That experience is what a lot of people are going to have. Whether they speak on it, whether they admit it or acknowledge it, that's another thing. But I think they're going to have an awareness breakthrough to see, oh, wow, that was going on. And whether or not they change or whether they choose to hold off on the same actions or thinking about things the same way, that's up in the air. That's why that's up in the air.
I actually want to double click that exact example, because I think when you make somebody aware, you are giving them a choice. And the choice is, I can like take this feedback, look at myself and examine, like, am I really, do I do this? Why do I do this? Am I going to continue to do this even though this person has brought it to my attention? And I think it takes a big person to be like, damn, I do that. Like, and sometimes it's nothing. It's just like, oh, I do that. Like, let me chill out on that, or let me explain why I do, or whatever. Like, let me just like, but it takes a fearful person to be made aware of something about themselves and to say, this scares me about myself. It makes me feel bad. It makes me feel like low or small or something like that. And so instead of like dealing with it and doing something with it, like, I am going to lash out, or I am going to deny, or I am going to avoid, or I'm going to say, oh, it was that other person. It wasn't me, like, so in that way, I agree with you. And I think a storyteller's job is, the only thing I can do is like awareness. That's all I can do. I can't grab anybody and change them and make them do whatever. So Josh, I'm going to hand it over to you, man. Is there anything you can help us find some other surface area here just before we close out this yearbook segment?
I mean, I'll be honest, you guys covered a lot of ground. But I have, and I guess I do have a couple questions, but I feel like you kind of answered some of them. But I have a kind of a out of the box question.
Great.
For you guys. Like, when we were recording this, like the thing that came to my mind is that this thing almost played back like a movie to me, or not like a movie, like a TV series to me, almost like, I don't know why, like thinking about, even though I don't really like the show, like All American was coming to mind and whatnot. But like I was thinking about it, and so the out of the box question is like, if this was a TV, if this ended up being like a TV show at some point, how do you think your community would react to that? And do you think that would be something that could be good as something that's on screen? I'm curious.
I'll just go first. I mean, I think, actually, I'm gonna go last. Whoever.
I think it's 50-50. I'm just gonna keep it a bean. I think it's 50-50. Just because of like the diversity, but I feel like the diversity is still minorities making up still like 50%. You know what I mean? So I still feel like the other 50%, which is still white per se, is, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's still gonna have those feelings that Tweez and kind of Chad spoke about. And those feelings open the door for a whole lot more people now to pull up and be like, well, actually, this story here, and that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you know what I mean? So I don't know TV series per se. I don't know if necessarily, you know what I mean? America's per se, you know what I'm saying, ready for that, because I feel like at that moment you've got to now reveal, you know what I mean, some color at that, you know what I'm saying, because that tells a lot of the story, you know, when you're gonna put it now in living color, you know what I mean? So yeah, 50-50
response. All right. I'm kind of close to the same. I think that it could be good, but you're always gonna have the people that receive it like wondering like, well, I was more important to that situation, wasn't I? And where's when this happened to me?
Right.
Some people were gonna actually feel excluded in this telling of the story. beyond even not even just talking about white people. I'm talking about just people
Mm-hmm.
in the story. Anytime you have something that comes from like based on a true event, somebody from this what it's based on has an issue with how they're portrayed.
Right.
So I don't expect everyone to receive it with open arms, but I think it's one of those things that if it catches fire, especially from where we're from,
Yeah.
like if it catches fire, everyone will just put all that behind them and say, yeah, that's that show. It's about us.
Yes.
That's about back home.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can
That
definitely-
one's
I can
me.
definitely-
Yeah, exactly. and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
me. They'll start claiming who they want to claim.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, I think that could work if it gets a roll. It needs a roll though.
Yeah, I would say I think I guess I'll call it the advantage it would have as a series when it comes to how people react to it is that TV series, depending on how specific and how true to character you make the characters based on who in connection with who they're based on, is like, that's a lot of words. Basically, TV series have the advantage of scripted TV series of being known to be fiction.
Mm-hmm.
There's that veil that they get to sort of hide behind, where it's like, you know, all these characters are an amalgam of other characters. Like
that's a good point.
my sister writes fiction, and as I was reading her book, I would call her after I read each chapter, and I would say some version of like, okay, what did this? I'm not chapter, they're short stories. I said, what is this story saying? And she would be like, in so many words, like, the story is saying whatever it says to you. Like, I'm not about to tell you what the story says. And then I would start doing like, okay, who's this character? Who's this character? Is this me? Is this mom? Is this so and so? And kind of she would give me somewhat the same answer. And that's like that is the protection that I think fiction offers you as the author, is like you don't have to be so nailed down to like, is this true? Now, it's funny because again, Yearbook it's a podcast. Like, as meaningful and as I think in some ways impactful as it has been, certainly to my life, and I see it being that way for others. Like it seems to be something that has stuck with people. It's a podcast. Like, it's not a CNN documentary. It's not 60 Minutes. It's not like, I'm an artist. I'm not like, I don't even know the name of a fucking journalist, but I'm not that. Like, I'm an artist. You know what I mean? So I'm doing my best to tell the story as I see it. I'm not a freaking, like, I'm not going in there and like, we went through legal documents and had to go, check sources. And there's a Washington Post writer as one of the guests on the show, Robert Klimko. So like, we had to have some level of journalistic integrity, but like, people are they're looking at it and listening to it as though it is like the be all end all document that speaks to what our community was at that time,
or that covers those events. It's not
yes,
that.
because
Right.
And so I think solely because, well, I think for two reasons. I think one is because of it is done in a very thorough way, right? In almost in a way that like shoots myself in the foot. It's like we spent so much time and energy making it good that people think it is more important than it is. And then the second is because it's on a big ass network. So like a lot of people have heard it. And when people see volume of audience, they think that means it means something to them. Now, if I get to make it into a TV series, and I got to stop talking like that. It's really like, if I choose to make it into a TV series, which is interesting to me, but I need to like take a second and step back from it and make sure that that's what serves it next as a vehicle for its growth. Like, I would probably take liberties to change many of the characters and like just change the story in some ways, because again, like, it needs to be fictionalized. And also like, what sounds good in your ears and feels cinematic doesn't necessarily translate to like a visual medium.
That's
so
a fact.
But that's a great question. And I hope, like, I'll just say for all big art, like I want to go to DC and like, I want this to be the bar in terms of like, everything we do now has to be at least at this level. Doesn't mean necessarily at that size of audience, but just like at that level of quality and like, and above. And if we're going to do that in DC, like something I want to see out of DC and the DMV is like being able to receive meaningful art and to like support it. Like, and I don't just mean like just root for it and love it. I mean just like be open to art. Like, be available to something that you might hate as art, but still letting it live as art without trying to like slap your fucking bureaucracy on it and like, you know, mess with it and shit.
Right.
Like, just let it be what it is. That's what I would love to see.
Give you the same opportunity they gave 3 Stacks.
3 Stacks? Oh, with the flu?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, and I, yeah. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So, Josh, did you have another one?
I was gonna ask you guys
Yeah,
one more
please.
because I know we're coming up on a break.
No,
here
this
soon.
is great.
But I was gonna ask you guys like a plain and simple question for all 3 of you. Do you guys feel more weight or less weight now that this thing is out in the world when you guys go home, or if it's something in between?
Well, they live there.
Honestly, I think less weight, I suppose. I mean, it's done. I mean, you know, the project is done. It's off our shoulders at this point. You know, I mean, we can talk about it. You know what I'm saying, as opposed to waiting for the 2 years that we have been waiting for it with the anticipation. But I feel like a lot of, you know, classmates, friends kind of seen how we have kind of grown and adjusted and have changed and assimilated to kind of the world and how things are, you know. So I think it's now like, okay, this is really who they are. You know what I'm saying? They really stand on the stuff that I see of them. So I don't think, I think it's less weight. Yeah, and I feel like the responses that are given people, you know, and letting them know, okay, yeah, Shield is really about what he says he is and how.
Do you feel more seen? Even by white people?
No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, no, definitely. You know what I mean? Like I said, I mean, there's people I haven't even talked to in 20 years, you know what I'm saying? Now we're not friends on Instagram again. We're friends. I mean, we're not friends on Instagram. We're friends on Facebook now. We're reaching. I mean, I'm talking to these people via direct message about, you know, just past experiences. You know, sharing the experiences that we had together. You know what I'm saying? Just bringing that nostalgia that Chad provided for us again. You know what I'm saying, through message. So definitely have. You know what I mean? And it's been. I have a bunch of requests and just friends that I've made now in the last however many weeks it's been since it's come out. So that's fire.
It's been less weight. A lot of people like reaching out and stuff like that. Honestly, it's also been less weight just because even just taking it back to the original story and our original place in all of this. Like, we were the basketball team, and that's our connection, and we were great friends. That's our connection, and really to the tragic events. Me and Ashil, we were not there. We were there for the first one, and that tragic event, my direct connection to that is how I felt about how Chad felt, right? So it's kind of like, as I see Chad and how he's receiving the project and the information, I start to feel a little bit more release, because it's really more about something that, you know, I seen a friend of mine in a box of something, trying to get through these feelings and process like an experience. Right. So now this was like, then 2 years ago, we're like, oh, this would be a good idea for you to get through that, you know, not necessarily knowing the direct angle of what was going on. And now to see it all come together, the art, how it's being received, it's definitely a relief. You feel good. I just feel good about that. Like, you know, that part of it. So we're still in the same spot in terms of like how I connect to it directly. Yeah. And as for the second event, I wasn't there. That was also another thing that we got through Chad. We got through asking him what happened and trying to understand how he felt being there. So, you know, again, seeing the project again and seeing the development of Chad and how other people are seeing now the same person and how he experienced it, like what it's worth to Chad, right? All that's good release.
Those are good answers. I would say it has been the release of this project has been my most emotionally volatile experience with a project release. Direct Deposit was a very emotional release, but that was the production of the show was difficult for me. The release of it was exciting because I was like, this is fire and Amp is treating me like a star. This is really cool. And also like, sometimes I got to take a step back really quickly just to speak to that, which is like, I am thankful for this point in time where, and I want to be careful how I use this word because I don't like some of the negative connotations to it, but like, I'm just gonna put it like this. I'm careful. I'm excited about this era of media where the writer can be star. That's like, you know, it occurred to me over the last few years that like, if I had been born 20 years prior, right? I don't think I you know, one is I don't have the acting chops or discipline to make it like that. Like I wasn't gonna take the plunge to just like act my ass off every day until I got good enough to get shots at big roles and shit like that. Like, I'm grateful for a moment where the writer gets a chance to be seen, because I think writers do an important job and deserve to be seen.
Oh, most definitely.
Yes. So now, separate from that, in this project, here's been the range. When I was driving home on Friday, I felt heavy. Because I realized that the people most affected by this project were where I was headed. And all of them, I think there's going to be a long arc on how the project affects them. I think a year from now, they will feel differently about it than they do today. But some of those emotions are so raw still, because the project is still coming out every Friday. And also, just, I'm going to be real, like, I think people be nervous going into Fridays a little bit. I think they'd be like, whoa, like, what's going to be said here? Like, what did I say? What is he going to say? What happened again? Do I really remember what happened? Does he really remember what happened? Does whoever's speaking on it really? So I think there's going to be a level of, like, relief tomorrow. I know for me, and probably for others, when the show is like, okay, that's everything. That's like, that's everything.
No
right?
more surprises.
No bonus episode. I promise y'all, there ain't no bonus episodes. There's a bonus clip coming out, but it's very sentimental with Alicia's parents. It ain't got nothing to do with none of y'all. Like, everybody's straight, right? But when it has to be said that, so I went home with heaviness. I drove back to New York thinking, I'm finally ready to go home. That's important to me. Like, that means something to me. Like, I can't now I'm going to start seeing the story of this trip home, because that's really what's in front of me creatively, is talking about what does it mean to go away for 13 years, really 17 years because of college, and then come back to the place that you're from as a different person, but who still very much looks like the person you were when you left. And what I'm feeling right now is like, as I'm seeing the beginning of that story, it must be part of the story that, like, I did this big, long project about my hometown, put it out, and then it wasn't until that thing was over that I was ready to then actually go live there. Like, I needed this project has offered me a level of closure that I didn't even really know I needed it. I knew that was a part of, like, the story of the story, is like, I need to find closure and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes I'm saying things that I know are true, even if I'm not feeling them in the moment. And that's one of them. Ew, I'm spitting like shit. Which is like that I needed closure. But, like, now I'm actually seeing, like, wow, I feel closure. Like, one thing that's given me a feeling of closure is watching other people, and I'll use my sister as an example, who's a mother of small children, respond to Lulu, Alicia's mom's testimony throughout this project. Seeing my sister be like, wow, she's so graceful. Like, wow, what strong parents they are to be able to process this the way they have and stay a family and be okay. You know, like, that is as an example, is something that gives me closure. I don't think I would have felt closure without being able to, like, I almost feel like I owed it to Alicia on some level to, like, tell this story in a certain way. And not, like, just with my own pen, but with other people's voices included. So let's take a segment break. Yearbook, real quick, I'll just say, our last episode of Yearbook, which you can find everywhere you find podcasts. Just go to your favorite podcast platform, search Yearbook Chad Sanders. You can go to the Armchair Expert Network on every podcasting platform and find Yearbook. Our last episode comes out tomorrow. And really quickly, Morgan, if you're out there, if you're listening, I'm sure you will be on the playback. I thought that the part where we talk about change versus awareness as a storyteller's impact. I thought that was really good. So can you go? It was Tweez queued it up. It was somewhere around like, I think you'll be able to find it. It was one of the last things said about impact. But just, can you go find that and clip that? And the point that I want to be made there is like, as the writer, I can only control the input, which is try to tell the story as best you can, and the outputs that you hope for, like awareness, that's what your job is, and then the change is like a reaction to that. So something like that. Okay, let's go to music, then we'll come back, talk about this shit. All right. Welcome back to Nothing But Anarchy. We have our boy Leon Chills, who we know from college, was the best man in Leon's wedding, one of two godfathers to Leon's baby boys. And Leon, we got Ashil and Tweez also here, if you want to say what up.
What's good, dog?
What's good, my boy?
What it do, Chills?
So we are about to talk about, we just talked about Yearbook for like 45 minutes. We're about to talk about, the last episode of Yearbook comes out tomorrow. So we were just doing like a recap of feelings and reactions and all that good stuff. But now what we're about to talk about is something a little bit lighter, in my opinion. And I'll go last on this, but Barack Obama, Leon is a film writer, screenwriter based out in Los Angeles. He's a full-on bona fide Hollywood writer, so he's going to definitely have a point of view on this. Barack Obama released via his Instagram a list of his favorite movies of 2023, including, and he listed these at the top, his 3 favorite movies of 2023, Rustin, Leave the World Behind, and American Symphony. And those are all movies that were produced by, you guessed it, the Obamas via their production company Higher Ground. Leon, I'm going to start with you now because you work in the field. First of all, 2 questions. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. How many of these movies have you seen? Which ones? And then how do you feel about the Obamas producing movies?
Hold on, let me find the list. Barack's list. I have seen the Leave the World Behind. I've seen American Symphony, The Holdovers, Oppenheimer, American Fiction, Past Lives, Air, and that's it.
Okay. And how many of which of the Obama produced movies have you seen? I didn't catch that.
I've seen Leave the World Behind and American Symphony.
And how do you feel about the Obamas? How do you feel about their artistic product? Like, how do you feel about those movies?
I thought American Symphony was really good. It's a documentary. I'm a little biased just because I know John Batista's manager, and I'm always like, it's hard for me to not like something a friend does. Like, it has to be really bad for me to like not like it because my bias becomes so strong. But I think it's a really good documentary. I didn't know anything about it going into it, and so it takes a very unexpected turn that I won't spoil, but I think it's really good. I thought the Leave the World Behind was okay. I felt like I shouldn't like it, but I felt like it had enough where I still liked it, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, it had the thing of, movie stars being movie stars, which I feel like has been missing. Like, people on the screen who just are ready and willing to watch and who are good at what they do. I watched it over 2 nights, so I kind of almost watched it more like a TV show than a movie because it had the chapters set up. But yeah, I mean,
let me ask a specific question. Yeah. So, as somebody who knows the production process so intimately, this and I'll just throw my thing in there because you can have a reaction to it. Like, I don't feel good about going to see a movie produced by politicians, by high level wealthy politicians. I feel like a strong distrust of what I'm about to put in my brain. When I watched Leave the World Behind, I wished I hadn't known it until afterward that they had produced it. But I want to be clear because I think you know the production process very intimately. Like, how much can producers at their level actually push their point of view through a movie?
I mean, a part of the press for this movie, which I feel like they made a point of, because you don't really see this, is that they made a point to say that Barack actually gave notes on the script because he had read the book and he was like, you got to keep this in the movie, blah blah blah. But as you know, typically people that high up maybe have very little to anything to do with the actual output. It's really up to their discretion in terms of how much notes they want to give or how involved they want to be. A lot of times it's just a vanity thing.
Okay, so, and I see a show reacting to this, so I'm gonna go to him next. Like, what makes me cynical? What makes me worried about politicians?
To your point, though, sorry to cut you off, but to your point, though, as you also know, a lot of people at the top of these companies aren't too much better than a politician anyway, though.
That's a fact. That's a fact. No, I mean, and that's kind of like where I wanted to go here, which is funny. The irony here is that a big part of the spiel in the movie is about how power can and cannot move the world around. And you know what? If I'm really looking into it, I think they were trying to suggest that there are some things that even the most powerful people in the world cannot influence. And right. I feel skeptical even of that as a message from the Obamas, because it's like, I almost feel like you're kind of like washing your hands of your ability to move things around. But here's the magnets. Here's what I want to say though. Like
we not them.
Exactly. Like we can do a lot, but we're not God, which like they're not. But they can do a lot. Now, here's the thing that I want Ashil to react to. Like, my issue is, I think that, let's call them politicians and other like big time power players, they see, as is stated in the movie, that our attention is all on movies and streaming and TikTok and just pouring shit into our eyeballs. And so it's not for like, I don't know, but I'm guessing it is not for some sort of artistic impulse that they want to make a movie. This is just the best way to reach us with their message. And so they're getting behind the vehicles that they know are shaping the way that we think. Ashil, you seem to like it that the Obamas are making movies. Why do you like that?
I didn't see the movies. I want to make that clear, right? But why can't Obama? It's a list for the entire year. So we've seen movies too. Why can't Obama believe that his movie is in the top 10 movies? When Michael Jackson made Billie Jean, you don't think that he thought that song was one of the best songs of the year?
It was.
Well, so well. So why can't Obama come with that same logic and say my 3, in fact, are in the top 10?
Because for me, it increases the distrust that I have on his point of view. Like, it just so happens that there were 13 great movies this year, and you made 3 of them, Barack Obama. Like, Morgan asked me an important question, and Tweez, I'm gonna get your point of view on this too, especially as someone who comes from the music side of things. Like, Morgan asked me in the car, and I didn't know this question was coming. As I was thinking through Barack Obama, she was like, "Is your book one of your favorite books?" And I was like, "Oh shit." And to be honest with you, like, it's definitely not. Like, it's not like a book that I think I would have picked up and read, and it's not a book that I think, like, I don't think it would have spoken to me specifically the way that it speaks to some people. It doesn't have to, because that's not the relationship between me and the book. I made the book so it could be somebody else's favorite book. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, you know what? Actually, let me not even say that, because I'm also not going to sit here and be like, it's not good. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and be like, it's not fire. So, Tweez, as someone who comes from the music side of things, do you trust a musician who says, my album was the hottest album of 2023, even if their album was the 20th best album of the year?
I trust a rap artist who says that. That is literally it. That's where it ends. I trust a rap artist that is carrying that vibe with them, because that's a part of the whole image. That's a part of the whole thing. If they don't think that they have the best album, good luck getting someone to listen to it. So I do think you're supposed to have that as the artist. Now, if a producer came with that same, I don't know what you want to say, biased approach to their way of listening to music, I would lose respect for them, because I expect them to have a higher criteria of music judgment and just integrity towards the music itself. Whereas an artist, I don't tie artists to that type of integrity, especially a rap artist.
Because it is so difficult to... Leon, what do you think about that? As an artist, what do you think about, like, your connection to your own product? Leon? Uh-oh.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I think it's too biased. Like I just said, I mean, I'm even like, if someone asked me the best books or whatever your year Black Magic came out, I'm gonna say yes. Like, I'm already biased, too biased with friends.
Right.
So I'm definitely be too biased with myself.
That's it.
So yeah, I don't think you can trust it.
Okay.
All right, Lee, I'm about to throw you a curveball question. Okay, go ahead.
Oh dang, this is bringing up things. I don't know if you saw Wayne said the best mixtape of all time is 56 Nights.
I did see that.
But that felt ridiculous to me. Maybe he's doing the thing where he couldn't say his own mixtape.
But possibly, but also, like, maybe that joint just really spoke to him. Like, maybe he also kind of seems like outside of music culture a little bit. Like, he doesn't listen to a lot of music or a lot of other people's music. So maybe that joint just spoke to him. Hold on, Lee, while we have you, and then I'm gonna let you go in a second. I want to ask you one other question. It's actually yearbook related. How many episodes into yearbook are you at this point?
I'm all the way caught up.
You're all the way caught up. Okay. You are someone who is, I hope this is not a reveal, and if it is, I'll cut it out. But you are considering moving your family to Maryland. Is that fair to say? Is that okay to say?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm curious about you as a father. They're laughing at how you said yeah. Yeah. I'm curious about just you as a parent listening to that show. Like, does it bring up anything to you around, like, parenting, like, about kids, you know, going through all these, like, real life experiences wherever it is that you choose to raise them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess the big thing is kind of like that nowhere is going to be perfect is what comes to mind most. I mean, part of the reason I went to high school in Howard County, and then, you know, I go to Morehouse and meet all of y'all who all went to the same school, which, you know, made me consider MoCo, you know, for my kids. And from the outside looking in, like, I meet literally the entire crew. I'm like, oh, wow, y'all all came from the same school. Like, this is amazing. Like, yeah, let me put that on the list. And then I, you know, listen to your book and I hear about how it wasn't a perfect experience, you know what I mean, for y'all. And so it's like, damn. Well, you know, you guys all still came out great, but you also still had to go through shit. And so it's kind of like, as a parent, just, you know, no matter what you do, your kids are going to have to go through some things. No matter how high the school is ranked, or a big thing for me is looking at the percentage of Black kids at the school and, like, setting a minimum percentage of Black kids at the school that I want, you know, them to go to. But even with that, I mean, it's just going to, you know, there's just going to be shit they have to go through. So it's kind of like, the big thing was that nowhere is going to be perfect, essentially.
Right. All right, Lee, I appreciate you, man. I know I sprung this on you because you called to talk about something else. But I hit your bike. We're going to get you out of here, and then I'm going to make everybody uncomfortable because I'm going to call Quincy.
All love, Trio.
Always
love, Trio.
Love you, Leo.
All right, dog. Love you. Peace. All right, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to call Quincy. Everybody get nervous. See if he has anything he wants to say. This just became the Friends episode. So I think that's a fitting way to end the year.
The friend zone.
Yeah, that's chill.
The friend zone. I like that. The friend zone. Come on, Q. I'm looking at a picture of him on my phone as the phone rings. Come on, Q.
What's up, Chad? I'm training.
What's up, Chad? Yeah, I mean, it is a weekday. Quincy?
I heard you.
Does he Hello? So strange, man. He might not have an answering machine. Hold on, I gotta try one more time. Let me see what happens.
Gotta try FaceTime. That's what it is.
Chad, why are you calling me back to back?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get mad.
I'm in a meeting with Nike.
Chad, are you doing the show? I'm at work.
Huh?
You on the radio? I'm at work.
Yes, dog. Can I just get you for 5 minutes?
When I get done with work.
What time are you done?
What time is your show over?
It's over at 1:30. What time are you done?
Ooh, what are we talking about?
I got Ashil and TJ in the studio with me, and I was gonna ask you to ask each of them one existential question that'll make us all uncomfortable.
Nah, dog. No, I gotta work.
All right, bye, Q. All right, well, we tried. Okay. All right, well, then let's go to our next segment, which is, let's play a little music for like a minute, and then we're going to come back and we're going to play Ask Chad Questions He Won't Answer with Ashil and Tweez, which Morgan queued y'all up on, right?
Yeah,
we're ready to go.
Great job, Morgan. Is Morgan here? Is she listening?
We up.
Yeah, she's listening.
Okay, nice. All right, music, here it comes. We'll be right back.
Finna ask you some dumb shit now.
Anarchy. Welcome back. Okay, do me a favor, y'all. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go ahead and rate us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to this show. I still hear something. Morgan, you're doing a great job with the music. The musical choices have improved, so thank you for that. This is our last show of the year, and we are going to end the show with a little game called Questions Chad Won't Answer that we have played with a few guests here. Morgan queued up Ashil and Tweez to come with a few questions such as that in that vein. So let's do it. Whoever wants to go first, ask a question you think I won't answer. Whoever between you guys gets the most points in this game gets, I don't know, something. When we go eat, I'll buy that person lunch.
This one.
All right, man. Let's play down.
All right. You just get to win. I know that matters to people. So let's just say that. You just get to win.
2-part question.
Oh, shit. That's cheating off top. But
Shoot,
go ahead.
Shoot.
Go ahead.
Since yearbook, have your DMs lit up with folks trying to get at you?
Like, trying to date me?
Get you for a date.
That's an easy question.
Good.
I would say, I wouldn't say lit up, but I would say that this is the most attention I've gotten in that way from strangers who are being forward about being like, what's up? Like, how, like, basically saying, like, how do I shoot my shot here? And what do I need to say or do for you to, like, come meet up with me?
Excellent. With that being said there.
Oh, shit. I knew that's where this was going.
Excellent. Is there anybody, you don't got to say names, though, but we're going to get a little spicy, though. Is there anybody in the lane that you can describe to us that we can figure out who they are?
Oh, y'all wouldn't know them. Y'all wouldn't know them. Okay. They're all, because they're strangers to me. They're all, okay. They're like, no, I wouldn't say any. I think, I think as an observation on the women that we know, at least.
Okay.
I think they are, I'm generalizing, so just let me do this, y'all.
I see.
I think they're a little more subtle and more thoughtful about placing themselves in your path when they want you to, shoot your shot, rather than just being like, boom, like on you. Okay. Most of the time. I feel like that's been an evolution over the years. I feel like when we were in college, it was just like, boom, what's up? I feel like even in your mid-20s, it's a little bit like, boom, what's up? I feel like now it's a little bit more, there's a little bit more like of a methodology about it, as far as I can tell. But that's what I've seen. No, these people are strangers. These people are like, they're strangers. They're just like profiles I've never seen before. And they say like something like, first, a lot of times first they'll ask a question in the little questions, Joe. It'll be like, are you single? And I never repost those. And then the follow-up, maybe I'll DM them from there and just be like, I'll say something completely completely unrelated to their question. I'll be like, thanks for following, like, thanks for listening to your book, blah, blah, blah. And then they respond with like, yeah, but blah, 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 blah. So that's what's going on there.
So no like industry, no one there.
No, okay, not at all.
Gotcha.
No.
Respect.
No, I don't even know, like, I'm starting to not even know what industry I'm in anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really have a connective tissue with, like, my friends who are, like, screenwriters and shit now are just my friends, Leon and Nina. Like, so, no.
Respect. All right.
Yeah. I'm going to actually try to get a point.
Yeah.
All right. So,
oh, shit.
when can you describe a time over this past season, right?
Okay.
In which then you were in an interview where you actually had to curb, because the whole point is this is anarchy, right? The reality, right?
Yes.
Give them the truth. So has there been a time, and can you describe it, where you've had to curb the anarchy, if you will? Like have a guest say something and you had to let it go even though you knew. Even though I knew?
You
knew.
Yes. Yeah, the answer is yes. Like it
got you.
And you're not asking for a name, so I don't have to give a point for no names.
Nope.
I would say like the the struggle of doing interviews in general, and this is why I think like now I'm understanding why I hate to always use this person as a reference point, but like Joe Budden doesn't do a bunch of interviews is because interview guests cannot be trusted. Like they are not incentivized to come in a room and tell the truth. Like now I'll be real with you. I think that's a misplacement of value. Like I truly believe that if I go do an interview with Dax and he asks me 100 questions and I'm honest on 98 of them, that interview is going to kill.
Good job, yeah.
Even if nobody knows me, like that interview is going to kill because honesty is so refreshing and it like grabs your attention when you hear it, you know it, you feel it. I can't think of a guest who has come in here and kept it real the entire time at all. Like I think people have so much to protect. And again, like everybody's not a public figure. So it's like they don't stand to benefit from sharing all their shit when they come in here. But like that is my existential struggle, Tweez, is that I'm trying to pull honesty out of people, but like it's like the awareness versus change thing again. It's like all I can do is control the input, which is ask a question, challenge the answer if I think there's more there. But I can't can't
call cap.
I can't just call people liars to their face. You know what I mean? It's not because it's not an adversarial relationship. They're here as a guest.
Okay.
Good answer.
I used to, and when I started doing quitters, I came in with a head of steam that was like, I'm here to expose. I'm here to like get underneath these Hollywood people and like show where they're but it's like two things. One is like they can see me coming 100 miles away. They're so adept at like not saying nothing when they want to. And the other thing, and Julie Bowen had to make this sort of clear to me, is like, it's like you're inviting somebody to your living room. Like you're inviting someone to your house and now you're going to try to like poke at all their insecurities and shit. Like that's
real. Yeah.
That in her opinion, that's not the job.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I think my job is somewhere in between because I do think something people like about engaging with me is that I do want to like get into some real shit. Like I do want to like really know what's going on, but nobody wants to just be like poked at, you know?
Okay.
So good try. 0 points for both of you.
Good.
Hingy?
Perfect. I'm here. I'm here now.
Take a turn.
I got you.
You can turn up the heat,
Two-part
guys.
question.
It's fine.
Two-part question.
Another two-part question.
Two-part question.
All right.
So you have had less engaging interviews this year. Yes? No?
What does that mean?
Interviews that you weren't, let me not say 100% all in because I feel like that's your job
Less
to be all
spicy?
in. Yeah, less spicy, just less interesting.
I've done less interviews in general, but like
this is my question's not done.
yes, sure. Just say yes to whatever it is that you're asking.
Cool. Since you're not describing,
Okay.
who was the least interesting or who gave you the least of your interview in 2023?
That's how you play the game. That's a point for a shield.
Ding, ding, ding.
I will not answer that question. And I'll tell you, honestly, 95% of why I won't answer that question is because Morgan will not let me.
I think that's fair,
She
too.
will cut it out and she will accuse
Tweez
me
was
of
talking about scoring
self-sabotage.
points. Tweez talking about scoring points. I had to go ahead and give me one.
I'm going to add one other thing here,
Just
which is
stole
that
my angle, though. That's it.
until this year, I thought I had to. I definitely value risk in art and in business. I definitely value risk. I thought I had to, as a part of risk, I thought I had to be upsetting to increase my value as a as a creative.
As a creative, as a storyteller, yeah.
Yes. And so literally from yearbook, I got smacked around a little bit enough to be like, I'm going to not do that on purpose. And I wasn't exactly doing it on purpose, but I probably wasn't like avoiding it the way that I should have been to protect myself.
You were making folks put their dukes up. Or you thought that was the angle that you had to come with.
I thought I had to just like be I'm trying to think of the basketball equivalent. I thought I had to like play like Russell Westbrook. You know what I mean? Just like run through whatever is in front of you, like injury and caution be damned. Just like do the job, do it at full tilt. And I think I'm allowed to be a little more graceful as long as I continue to make a high level of artistry.
Gotcha.
Basically. All right. So good point for Hendry. Tweez, you got to catch up.
All right. Even though he stole my whole move, that's cool. I'll allow it. How do I ask this question? Let me see if I can get a sneaky point here. Are you willing? Are you willing to disclose? Are you willing to disclose? That's the wild question.
You can do it, dog. It's fine. We can always cut it out.
All right, cool. All right. Are you willing to disclose any interest to you beyond the idea of a DM or a message? Have you received anybody? Are you willing to disclose that you have received someone that you would be interested in courting or figure out more to the story?
That's such an eloquent way to ask whatever it is that you're asking.
I want my point, but I want my.
You just asked it like Shakespeare. I
want to give him a point just for that.
just for using the word courting.
This isn't wilding out, dog. Answer.
Yeah, my eye has been caught. Yeah, for sure. Yes, I think I'm kind of still getting my like. I'm really honestly still catching my breath from like life. And also especially with like this move in sight potentially, I'm trying to, what am I saying? I have like a momentum. I have like a purpose right now, and I'm trying to honor that, and also like honor the time that I need to take to like get myself straight again, while also remaining like open to people, because like that's, I don't know, that's an important part of life. That's a part of life that I like, you know, is like getting to know somebody. So yeah, my eye's been caught. That was the question, so that's the answer. No points.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
Hingy started, so you get one more, and then Tweez gets one more. And then if Tweez gets a point, then we'll do a tiebreaker. And then we're out of here.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
So, my question is here. It's getting a little spicy here. Which friend, lover, did you get the most triumph from after the rejection?
What does that even? What language are these niggas speaking? What does that even mean?
Who did you get back at the best after the rejection?
Oh my
and
god!
You felt like you won.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dog. I really want. I'm gonna say this, and I really believe it, and I stand on it. Like, I really don't. This point in my life, okay, that you've known me for 20 years.
20 years.
So
20 and some.
20 and then a couple.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't always like this, but I'm really not looking for get back, dog. Like, I'm really not looking to, like, there was a time, and like, you know, me and this person are friends, but like, there was a time where with one of my exes, it just felt like I need to like prove to her that what a missed opportunity to be with this person.
You're getting somewhere.
And I thought, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure she and whoever else sees me, and they're gonna know what's going on with me.
They see me.
And I'm not gonna see her. Like, that's how it's gonna go. Like, but and I don't, I mean, all right. I'm not looking for get back on anybody. I do expect that anybody who I have dated, like we all do, like if you look up and it looks like your ex is like having a good life, like you feel a little bit of like, damn, like that looks like fun over there. But they're misremembering because yes, I have a good life, but like when we were together, like we were not having a ball together. So even if I'm having a good time and you're having a good time over there, when we were together, like we weren't having a ball. Sometimes we had a good time. Sometimes it was fun. It was happy, whatever. But like we decided not to be together. So it obviously it wasn't going that great.
Yeah.
So there's no dog. That's not a point, dog.
Oh,
because the answer is nobody. Like
okay.
I don't want that.
Okay, respect.
Do you want that?
Look, sometimes things got to be known. All right. And like you said, they're going to have to see from far away. And I'm going to keep that window wide open. They better see me. They better see me. Someone's going to see me.
That's what Q used to say. Q used to be like, somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. I'm like, why? It's not like, what do you win? What do you, like, what's the trophy?
And why does it have to be broadcasted who wins or loses, though?
Only we're watching the show. It's only us two, only me and her, only me and them watching the show. That's it. It's only me and them watching the show.
That's sickening. That's
it.
crazy.
That's it.
That's crazy. All right, Tweez.
All right, man.
This is the last question. This is your chance to tie.
This guy been piggybacking, dog. All right.
But the way you guys have asked these questions have been crazy. I was like, what is being asked right now?
We wouldn't ask like this in the chat, but
I just said,
you
a
gotta,
friend,
you know what I
All
mean?
right. So I'm just gonna have to steal a point. This time I'm gonna use somebody's point right here. Watch this.
Shit.
Ready? All right. You can just cut it out if it's just too far.
It's all right.
But I think that's gonna get a point.
Okay.
All right. So the last time the last time that you were out
This is crazy.
with the with you're out with a woman in a dating aspect, right?
Yes.
And things escalated. How did it go down?
That's a crazy question, Tweez. How did it go down? First of all,
I'm playing the game. I'm playing the game.
First of all, the way you guys are asking these questions is ridiculous.
So
like,
many adjectives.
and it escalated. It's like, it went up and it escalated, and then how did it go down? Like, I will not answer that question. No, I don't even know. Because one, I don't even know what's being asked. So I'm not answering the question. All right.
That's a point.
We both have a point. Yes. All right.
That's it.
So
Wow.
That's all I had to win.
You don't know what's being asked. Wow.
I mean, I do know what's being asked. I'm not answering that question. That's okay.
Cool.
All right. So point for everybody.
Gotta bend the rules.
It's 1-1. Make this last one your best shot because this is it. This is going to determine the winner of the game.
I just had to get on the board real quick. Now I can get back.
Okay, I'm gonna sit up for this one.
She got it, bro.
So,
Got spicy.
Marcus Jordan Larsa Pippen. Auntie. Have you ever looked at an auntie? Like Marcus looked at Larsa.
Yes. Yes.
Got him.
That's an easy one. I
Easy
mean,
one.
yes.
That's no shame.
Yes. Someone from my mom's book club. My mom's in like 3 book clubs, so this is not gonna reveal who the person is.
Respect,
but
yeah.
yes, and I mean, granted, I was a teenager, so I don't know if I saw that person again, if I would still feel the same way. But yes, I have looked at an auntie that way. Equal opportunity, man. Aunties can get looked at. Like, I mean, it's fine. We're all adults here. So
Marcus, calm down, man.
I'm fine with Marcus's actions.
Marcus.
I'm fine with Marcus's actions. Tweez, all right, this is it. Bring us home, and then we're out of here.
Can I get a point here? Yeah, I think I can get a point.
I got one if you need a minute.
Oh, shit. Josh wants to jump in
Go
here.
ahead,
He
Josh,
can
jump
tie
in.
y'all.
Shoot one, Josh.
Go ahead, Josh.
I'm gonna remix one from earlier.
Oh Lord.
Because now that we're this actually one I asked you from a while ago.
Okay.
I'm curious if you remember it or not, but I'm gonna remix this a little bit since we've been talking about DMs so much.
All right.
So last time I asked you, like, what would you do if you approached a woman in a bar in a certain scenario? But
Mhm.
what would be, since you're a writer, and I'm going to be very specific, if there's somebody's DMs you would want to slide into that you don't know at all, what are the first 2 sentences you're writing to that person?
Great angle, Josh. I like that.
I'll be like,
Why'd he get the voice going?
Yeah, the voice.
I'll be like, hi, I'm Chad Sanders from the Yearbook Podcast. I'm looking to do an interview with you.
Ooh.
I
Okay.
wouldn't just, because I'm not just going to like jump out the window to Zoe Kravitz. Like, I'm not going to just like send the fucking Kevin, fucking Kevin, what is that shit? Like, you know, the slide meme, the picture
Oh.
of, you know what I'm saying? Because that is the one that I used to have as my go-to. Is I would just send the what's that man's name? That white man,
I forget you're talking about. I know you're talking
Kevin,
Yeah,
Invisible Man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Bacon?
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon,
There's a
Kevin
meme.
Bacon.
If you Google Kevin Bacon sliding, is like he's like leaning into the joint like this. Like I would. I don't think you can just like. Maybe somebody can. I don't think I can just like slide on. Like, who are we talking about? Fucking Tyler. Like, whoever. You guys choose your person, but like, I don't think you can just. That person gets such an influx of like crazy slides all day, every day, and such an influx of just ridiculousness. First of all, and they also like, I think most of these people do not check their own DMs very frequently. I think they're mostly looking for like business opportunities in there.
So
How-
you're trying to wiggle your way out of this.
I got-
He's been
I know.
This is my-
slithering out.
No, this is my real. If I really wanted to get somebody's attention, I would have to like get their attention.
Oh,
Like,
I'm gonna box you in a little.
Okay,
bit more.
box me in.
I'll box you in a little bit more.
all right,
They're not a famous person.
okay,
You know who they are,
all right.
but and maybe they know you just a little bit, but they don't really know you that much. Like maybe somebody that's like a colleague that you worked with one time or something like that.
Okay.
Some familiarity, but not that much.
Yearbook's out the window.
Oh yeah, I would be like, I'm still opening up conversationally. I'm not just like, and maybe that's my bad, but I'm not just like jumping straight into like, you know what? All right, now let me. You've asked the question, so let me like appropriately answer. Since you asked me as a writer, as a writer,
uniform.
you have to consider the audience. Like there are different people who I'm gonna say this bluntly, and it's gonna be a little way. It's gonna be a way, okay? Let's say for instance, if I see a talented artist who is sort of like has a very small amount of notoriety, but like, you know, they got 20,000 followers or something like that.
Mhm.
Like they have their work on their page. I'm going to look at the work and I'm going to comment on like, wow, like you're really talented. I really like what you do with blah, 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 blah.
Indirect rap.
Then they're
Okay.
going to respond.
Okay.
But after that, one response, and then after that, like I gotta go. Like
Mhm.
then, because I don't want to waste their time either. So it's like, boom, response. Oh my god, thank you. I really like blah 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 blah. And then I'm like, something like I mean, if I'm just being super real, I'm just gonna be like, do you want to get together? That's it. Like, oh, I see that you're in New York. Do you want to get together? Like, it's gotta like. I want them to know I'm a humane person out the gate. But then after that, I want them to know like I'm not on here to like, you know, we're not about to be writing letters to each other in DMs. Like it's not that. That's for that person. Now, for a different kind of person, like somebody who seems to be like sort of, I would call in the civilian bracket. Like they got, you know, a private page with 250 followers on it. and they're always like liking my stuff or whatever. Like they're always like kind of like engaging with my stuff or whatever. For that sort of person, it's probably going to be a little bit more direct. It's because it's like, I don't want to be that open to people like trying to engage me conversationally on Instagram.
Mhm.
Like Instagram is it is a place of business for me, and it is a dating app for me. And that's it. Like, I don't like that. I don't want to have a whole I don't want to know about this and the third and fourth. So it's probably just going to be like, hey, you're really pretty. Do you live in New York or Los Angeles?
Mhm.
Like, because those are the important things. Like, I find you attractive. Do you live in a city that I am in often? That's pretty much it. Does that answer your question?
I'll let you get away with
You
that.
want more?
No, it's fine. It's fine. It
What
works.
what
It
more
works.
can I say?
It works. It works.
It's slithery.
It's
I'm a-
slithery, yeah.
What's the
I mean,
wait? What's the slither?
I don't think so.
You just been ducking some answers for real.
What am I ducking? Like it's
been like
writing.
Houdini
It
with this.
needs to be clear. Like it has to be. It's got to be straightforward.
what did I-
Emojis?
No emojis.
No
I'm not an emoji guy.
Not even a hard eyes.
no
Not a
hard
heart.
eyes. But
Okay.
maybe I'm lacking. Like I'm new.
Googlies. All right.
Okay.
I'm new to all
I'm
this.
just, you know,
So
enough.
I'm just seeing where you at. That was a great question, John.
maybe I'm lacking though. I mean, I don't know.
You look good. No harder.
Let me go for the
I feel
win,
like
man.
words are the thing. Just like
I feel okay. Respect.
I
don't
feel.
know.
I think I filibustered enough. You can.
Go ahead, Tweez.
I'll go for the win here. Let's see what's going on. All right. Is there a major production company? Pardon me if I got the wrong words here, right? A major production company or business, I don't know what to say here, that you would refuse to work with? That you would be willing
That's
to
a
tell me
good-
about,
that's
tell
a
me
good
about why.
To work with.
Because you'd be, given that you'd be Kobe. We've already talked about that. right?
Yeah.
Given that you'd be Kobe.
Like
no.
if they were like, hey, we're gonna build something around you.
Yes.
It's so fucked up because they're the biggest in the game, but it would be really hard to like work with Joe Rogan. Like, so the thing is,
Respect.
I don't think I would turn down a Joe Rogan interview.
Sorry,
I think
though.
I would jump right on that.
That's cool though.
But I do think I would
Good.
have to turn down like a business relationship.
Mm.
Because that means like an ongoing, like now his brand is attached to me.
Mhm.
I gotta have meetings with the people on his team. I gotta answer to them. I gotta wait for them to send me my checks. Like
Ugh.
it doesn't feel right.
Crazy.
That's an easy example. I'm trying to think of like if there's any other like immediate. I mean, and then there's probably a bunch that I don't even know about. Like there's-
Barstool.
I mean, Barstool, shit, man. Barstool's another one. Like, yeah, I don't think I could. I also think like we're moving out of the era of getting signed to a bigger podcasting label is probably not my path. Like, I think I'm in the adolescent area where it's like my job is to become one of those labels as opposed to being like, yeah, like $1 million worth of game is signed to Barstool, and I'm like, I guess, like, why? I mean, I do think they cut them a big check out the gate, and they probably have not made them back that money, but yeah, nah, I think I'd be good on that. So it was a good attempt, but I guess that's it. We have no winners here. If anybody else has one, shoot it off. Otherwise, we're about to get out of here because we're at 1:36. Guys, thank you all for being here. Ashiel, Tweez, please remind the people one more time where they can find you guys.
Check out 1-on-1, YouTube, Instagram. Holla at us, man. We there.
And what about where do they find you personally on Instagram if you want to share?
I'm there. I am at Yo Henji with 4 O's. Henji is spelled HENDJE. Get with me.
And I'm at Checkup Tweez on Instagram.
Check up Tweez. That's TWEEZE. This is Nothing But Anarchy, episode number 74. We'll be back with 75 on Tuesday, same time and place, right here on YouTube Live. Also, wherever you get podcasts. Morgan, I think we got a good reel from that storytelling thing. Inputs, awareness, change. That's it. All right. See you all on Tuesday. Goodbye.